Hey everyone, I am Tanya Farron. Welcome to Monday. It's August, hard to believe, but it is August 3rd today. I'm excited to be here with you on another great Monday. My name is Tanya Farron. I'm the host of Parent to Parent with you. I'm also the author of Raising the Well-Adjusted Child, a Parent's Manual. If you're interested in it, you can grab the QR code at the top here and grab that link to purchase Raising the Well-Adjusted Child, a Parent's Manual. I'm also available to come in and speak to parent groups about my book. So you can bring me in and we can do a book study on Raising the Well-Adjusted Child, a Parent's Manual. Happy to do that with your parent groups and get that set up for this school year. So that's enough about me. I'm excited to bring up our guests today. We've got two guests with us today. They are the owners and founders of Welcome to Fatherhood, and they just do amazing stuff in their community. I've had them on before. Well, I had them scheduled before, didn't get to have them on, but I've met with them in other types of settings and other lives, and they're just two incredible humans. I'm excited for you to meet Dr. Raheem Young and Sir Royce Borealis. Hi, guys.
Hey, Dr. Tanya, how you doing?
I'm good. It's good to see you all. Thank you for joining me. I'm glad we finally got to get this together. I think this is a perfect time for us to be here together. It's the start of the school year. There's a lot of things happening with families and kids. So I'm excited about that. Why don't you guys each take a minute and give an introduction of who you are and a little bit about your company. So whoever wants to go first.
You want to take it, Royce?
Oh yeah, sure. Sir Royce Borealis here, co-founder of Welcome to Fatherhood, as Dr. Tanya mentioned, dad of three. My son is 14, middle son is 11, youngest daughter is 9. So I'm in the thick of it.
You are. You
Yeah,
definitely
so
are in the thick of
definitely
it.
getting all the back to school shopping out the way.
I love that. I love that. Raheem, tell everybody a little bit about you as well.
Okay. My name is Raheem Young. I'm the other co-founder of Welcome to Fatherhood. We're a nonprofit based out of Chicago that work with men. We help them cope with the pressures and stresses of parenting and just like relationships and everyday life. And I'm also a father of three, and it's an exciting time for me and my family. We just getting ready for preparing the kids to go back to school, and just trying to wrap up the summer with a bang, pretty much.
I love that. I love that. Families of three. You guys are brave. I had two. I stopped at two. Three, I don't know if I could have done. I wanted three, but I had to work. I always told my husband if I didn't have to work, I'd contemplate three. But how exciting for you guys to do that. And so, welcome to fatherhood is to me like I have not, I have been in education for a long time. I've worked with a lot of families, a lot of people, and to have someone who's created a place and a space for dads to be able to interact, to engage. Like this is a first for me when I met you guys, and I think that it's really incredible. What brought you to deciding that this is what you wanted to do with your time? Hmm.
So so when we started Welcome to Fatherhood, we came up with the concept in 2015. We used to meet to talk about different business ventures. We both have entrepreneurial spirit, and in the past, we've started like businesses before. So like during this time, we would meet to talk about like different businesses or come up with ideas or whatever for different businesses that we could start in the future. So during this time, Royce was expecting his first child. So a lot of the business meetings, a lot of the business meetings would turn into like what to expect meetings, and we would just talk about like expecting our experiences with expecting. And from those conversations, we thought it'd be cool to develop a forum where men could come together and just talk about their experiences. So that's how like we came up with the concept, and then that next year we got incorporated as a nonprofit in the state of Illinois, and then we really didn't start like working or doing anything until the summer of 2018. But like since the summer of 2018, we just been working in the community, working with men, and trying to bridge the gap.
That's incredible. Royce, did you want to add to that? Did you want to add anything?
No, just to add to it, we had those discussions. The name came about shortly after that. I went home after we had our meeting, and I was like, "What can we call the business?" It kind of hit me like a ton of bricks, like WTF. Like
Right.
the acronym. It's Welcome to Fatherhood, but the acronym is WTF because a lot of times as men, as dads, as parents, we say WTF.
So, and that's what you're feeling sometimes, like, what is going on, right? I love that you guys were, you guys have been friends for a long time. I think I recall this in another conversation, like since elementary school, right?
Yes, kindergarten.
Kindergarten.
Yep.
I love that. Lifelong friendships. I absolutely love that. That's incredible. But I love the fact that you guys were together sitting there and talking about Raheem going to become a father and probably having those WTF conversations like, why is my wife acting like this? Or what should I do in this situation? Or I don't know how to feel. Or what if I said the wrong thing? I probably did, right? I mean, were some of those, am I on target with what some of those conversations might have been?
Yeah, it's pretty much spot on. Like it's like a lot of what's
that they can learn about this or they can think about it. I love that. So how do you get them to come together and talk about these topics? Let me back up a second. What are some of the topics that you bring together for families or for dads when you have your programs?
So it varies. Like we've talked about, I feel like we talked about a little bit of everything under the sun. So we meet on the first and third Thursday of the month. So each session we try to make it like brand new, unless it's like a series or like a follow up, a continuation from the session that we did before. So this upcoming Thursday, we're talking about. The title of the symposium is going to be the social determinants of love. So like how we have social determinants of health, where things like your education level, income, access to quality health care, and so we're going to flip it and how these things determine your level of health. We're gonna make it where like show how these things can determine the type of relationship you have with your partner. So like we do stuff like that where we combine like different concepts and just try to make it fresh and something cool to come as a group and talk about and learn from each other.
So do you guys call your meetings symposiums? Is that what I'm hearing? The term for you guys, correct? You meet
Yes.
twice a month?
Yep.
Okay. And so tell me, Royce, how does one get to be a part of Welcome to Fatherhood? I have so many questions.
We got answers for you. So we meet on via Zoom. We used to meet and have like a hybrid setup where we'll have people come in person and do the Zoom. But recently we've been doing Zoom where people can just jump on the Zoom. We do the invites via LinkedIn, the events via LinkedIn, and also through Facebook also. So people can follow us on our Facebook group, Welcome to Fatherhood group, or even our Welcome to Fatherhood page. You'll see all of our events there. They could jump on from there.
I've known you guys for, I'm thinking now 3 years. I think we're on 3 years because I've been connected with Damien for at least 3 years. And so I did not know that you guys had a Facebook page, and I did not know that you listed your events on LinkedIn. Now, how crazy is that? I'm writing myself a note, right? Because I want, in helping parents, it's important that we share all the resources, that I share all the resources that I have with them. And so I want to make sure that we do that. So, and then I'll look for is it a group? It's a Facebook group on LinkedIn or on Facebook, a Facebook group called
Facebook group.
Same logo.
Yep.
So you can join that and become a member. Does it cost to become a member of Welcome to Fatherhood?
No
No cost. any dad, any man, any person who's wanting to be a father, any age group of a father, right? They could have a
Yeah,
10-year
all are
old,
welcome, all ages, all stages.
all ages and all stages. I love that. I love that. Gives you a good variety of conversation with people coming in. Nice. And that's great. And then you just have I have been to one of your symposiums, so I have been to one, and it is pretty awesome. You guys also branch out a little bit more into families too. Tell me a little bit about that, Royce. How you connect with the whole family.
Yeah, so we also come up with topics where we invite the moms to jump on the calls also. So I think it's good to have a good open dialogue with moms and dads so we can kind of bridge the gap and come together as a collective unit, as a family. You know, because we can't be dads without the moms. That's how I look at it.
Right, right. I love that. I love working on that family unit. I think that's so important for our kids. Because really that work really is surrounding about, right, supporting our kids. That's really what we're trying to do in the big scheme of things here. So Raheem, for fathers, I mean, what are the ups and downs of the parenting journey? Like from a dad's perspective, what are some of the ups and downs?
That's a good question. So, for me, and so a lot of the concerns that we hear about is like marginalization. So, where the focus is on like the mother and the child, and the man is kind of like not talked about, or like is just marginalized pretty
I
much.
agree.
Uh,
I would
mhm.
agree. Yeah. Yeah. So that's tough. So when dads are going through the thick of it, um what are some of the things that the audience is saying there's a lot of feedback. So maybe when we're not talking, we should mute. So if one of you guys can mute, um, maybe that'll help. Thank you all for sharing that with us. Thank you, Nick and Jackie and Lisa and Leslie and Miss Natalie Thomas being here with us tonight. Appreciate that. Um, what are some of the things that keep dads up at night? Like, what do fathers worry about? Because I think a lot of times we think that dads literally, right? You can carry the weight of the world on your shoulders. Like you got these big shoulders. You're supposed to be these big, strong men that can handle anything that comes at you. But what are some common worries or things that dads struggle with on a regular basis? And whoever wants to unmute or wants to share, that doesn't matter to me.
I I can go ahead.
Sure.
Um, so I would say I talked about like the marginalization. Also just like being able to express emotion and feeling. Um, then also so like finance is always a big thing. I think men, um, that'd be an issue. Um,
I would
and,
agree with that. Yes. Yes.
yeah,
Go ahead. Keep going.
and then I think so. I hear the feedback.
Oh, you're hearing it now? I'll mute.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's a presence is another thing. So having time to be with your child or be with your children. Um, that's one of the things. Like when we did our interviews, our Welcome to Fatherhood Dad interviews, we always say like, what's one thing that you would want to what's one thing that you would want to give to like a new father, and everyone would say like presence. Well, majority of people would say presence, so like just being there. So trying to find that balance between like work and like family. That's another big thing that men worry about.
So you're telling me that new dads want to be present with their children.
Mhm.
That's what you're
Yes.
saying? Yes. So like they want to be a part of it, not just the mom, but I've had a child too. I'm part of this family. And I think it's true. Like, a long time ago, I mean, my kids are 26 and 29, and I remember like asking my husband, "Can you please stay home this first week?" Like, I know me as the wife, I wanted my husband there. I didn't really want my mom there, or my mother-in-law there. I wanted my husband there. And, it was a big deal, 29 years ago for him to ask off of work for a week, plus, but he's a blue collar worker. So if he doesn't work, he doesn't get paid. So we knew that he wasn't going to make any money that week. So that was going to kind of set us back a little bit. But, you know, I think that that is, often, kind of slighted for men. I think also that emotional piece too. I think, my guess is, did you worry about your wives a lot when they were expecting? Like, have worries about their health or how they were going to make it through? I see, Royce, I see your head bobbing. Tell me about that. Tell me more about that.
Oh yeah, for sure. And my wife was my ex-wife now, but when she was pregnant, when she was going through her pregnancy, she dealt with a lot of issues, a lot of well, she had postpartum after the first child, so she had to deal with getting help with that. So just being present and being not just present for the kids, but present for your spouse as well is important because they need your support just as much as your kids do. Uh, so just being aware of what they need as well is real vital because we should be working with each other as a unit, as a mom and dad unit. So yeah, she definitely had struggles with like postpartum and depression and all that. So I had to be real mindful of how I supported her during that time.
Wow, how awesome. And I'm thinking to myself even um when and this is where I'm kind of focused on this pregnancy part, which I know there's a lot more to it, but right now my brain's kind of focused on that. But I remember when I was pregnant with my first daughter, we didn't know anything. And I remember him going to the doctor and he's like, "She's sleeping all the time. Is this normal?" She literally works, sleeps, eats, sleeps, gets up, goes to bed. And they're like, "Yeah, that's okay. She's making a baby." And he was like, "Okay, as long as she's okay and that's normal." And I remember him having that, a few of those questions with me. And I was pretty fortunate. I did have a great support system. Um, but I also remember when I had the second child, about 3 days after she was born, I remember him peeking around the corner and he went, "You're back." Like, all of a sudden, pregnant Tanya was gone and regular Tanya was back again. And, that to me, and Royce, I don't know if you want to pop in and say anything about that, but that to me, we don't think about that for dads. Like, they're dealing with a whole new person too sometimes. How do I manage her emotions and all of that?
Yeah, it's a lot, and a lot of things. Some things that don't get talked about as well is the man's emotional state. We as
Yes.
men sometimes go through postpartum. During that process. So being aware of our own mental health because we get thrown a lot gets thrown on our plate as men.
Yeah.
We got a new life we got to take care of, and our wife needs our support, and we got work, we got all these things we're juggling. So we have to be real mindful of our own mental health during all that process as well.
I love that. I love that. Raheem, what do you want to weigh in on that?
Yeah, I would just say I agree. I agree with what Royce is saying because it's a lot of like when you're expecting this. It's something that you really can't prepare for. I mean, you can prepare for it, but like when you in it, it could be completely different. So just having that awareness to um, keep your own mental healthy, if that makes sense, and yeah, it can be a lot for both the mother and the father.
Yeah, dads, we don't really worry about their emotional state, it seems. We don't check on the dads. How are they doing? How are they feeling? The postpartum depression of a dad. How are they feeling? So I love this. This is a great question that Nick has popped into the chat. Do you feel that single dads, we're going to step away kind of from that pregnancy piece and just talk about single dads in general. Do you feel that single dads don't get the same support as mothers, and from whom? Agencies, society, and even family? I don't even know the answer to this. Maybe you guys can shed some light on this. Raheem, go ahead.
So yeah, I would say the answer is no. That- and that's one of the reasons why we wanted to start Welcome to Fatherhood, because like I know Royce was saying like how he came up with the name, but a part of that he didn't say was like that night when he went to research like fatherhood initiatives or fatherhood programs, there hardly were any. Like most of the resources and everything was like for mothers. So single fathers don't really get like the support that they need.
They really don't. That's a great question. Thanks for asking that, Nick. You know, my we have a friend who did get custody of his daughters, and he really did need a lot of support. And did get it, but from family. Didn't really get it from outward places, and it really wasn't talked about. And I mean, even to the point where I remember saying to him, "Hey, your daughter needs a bra," and he was like, "She needs a what? What am I? What?" And I was like, okay, let's talk about how we need to get her what she needs, and just little things like that. He's like, I don't know what to do about that. And so, just kind of having that place and space. Love that. I'm going to also pop in, thanks, Nick, again. Men have traditionally been the breadwinner, so they aren't with the kids as much. So that's also something, right? That's kind of sad. I'm working all the time, or some dads work two jobs to support their family. And so they're not always with that. Yes, thanks, Nick. Blue collar workers don't have that PTO to spend time with their family or their kids or to take off. Exactly. Some dads do get maternity leave, which is nice. Mm-hmm. Great questions. Good questions. Good questions. Well, let's go into another question and talk about, some of the things that you have been able to provide for families with your Welcome to Fatherhood symposium. You do other things in the community. You do community events for kids, for families. Talk to us about some of those events that you do. Royce, you want to take this one?
I got it. Yeah, yeah. So we recently had our this is to be our what, fifth or fourth fatherhood, well, Father's Day Juneteenth event, park is close to Chicago. This actually was our one of our best ones. I think it gets better every time we do it. I think we had over like 300 people show up, like collectively, like throughout the day. So we had all the way from grandparents down to babies. We had a baby tent out here, so it was real nice, real good event. And we also have our Father's Feed program where we give out you know bag lunches to the underserved in Chicago. Uh, and also our podcast, Welcome to Fatherhood Interview. So we've been doing a lot, and then we've been doing research around fatherhood. Also, have three different abstracts to get approved at the American Public Health Association. So we've been doing research around fatherhood as well.
Nice. So, what are some of the highlights that you've noticed from your research? What is something that you guys have noticed for fathers?
So so the last time we presented, it was last year. We talked about um, colon colorectal screening. So like culturally, how your culture impacts your want. I mean, nobody wants to go through the screening process, but understand the importance of it. Um, we talked about that last year. Then we also looked at how childhood trauma could impact your parenting ability, um, and we looked at abortion. So how men are emotionally and mentally impacted by their partner having an abortion, and we also looked at stereotype threat and how the perception that fathers aren't really around, especially black fathers aren't around, how that um, stereotype or how that perception impacts your confidence level of being an involved active father. So those are like some of the research topics that we did. Sorry.
No, that's amazing. That's great. I know you and I, they're both members of the 2350 network. I had the pleasure of meeting Raheem and his beautiful wife last October, I think it was. They came to the St. Charles area. It was wonderful to meet them. And they were talking about this study with the screening, that they were the research that you were doing on that for men. As it sounds odd, but you know what? We want our dads around, right? And if we don't teach men that, they're not invincible, but you do have to get screenings. You have to take care of yourself. You have to go to the doctor. We want our dads to be around for our kids for a long time. And so I love the fact that you're bringing that, shedding that light on that for them there, as well as the emotions that men go through with abortions too. Like, those are big decisions. And again, most women feel that they're the only ones emotionally feeling, depression, anxiety, other things I'm sure that come along with that. And we forget that the men are doing that. I think this is such an important conversation that we have. I love what you guys are doing. I've said it over and over all the time. I do. Whenever I can put you guys, and I'm going to say, give you guys a plug, because I mean it though, because I do think the work that you guys are doing is incredible. I think it's needed. We'll drop these in the show notes here, but welcome to Fatherhood. This is the website here. Welcome to Fatherhood. I don't know if you want to tell us what this video is about, Royce. You want to jump on and tell us what we're seeing here, or you may not be able to see it.
It's actually one of the first guys we interviewed. Actually, the first guy we interviewed on our podcast. He's giving us a review on on our business, and
nice.
he's a real good friend of the business.
All right. And then people can donate to support mental health initiatives for fathers. I love that. So they can do something like that, and it kind of explains why Welcome to Fatherhood was formed. And you can subscribe to their newsletter. You can email them here. But also, I'm glad that you brought up the podcast, because I forgot about that. Because you do have a podcast, and that you record on videos, right? And you upload it to YouTube. Yep. Is there another forum that this podcast is on, or just on YouTube?
It's all over the place. So Spotify, Apple.
Nice.
I forgot the other ones. I think iHeart Radio. Yeah. I think they got a section on podcast. But we put it on Spotify, and it kind of broadcast it everywhere.
Right. Nice. So you've got a lot of choices for people to come in and listen to. You can listen to Damian Kinsey here. That was a few years ago. I remember that one. Lots of good things to provide time for your kids. I love that. Is there one episode that really stands out to you that people should go back in and watch that you guys can think of?
Man, good question.
I love this father and son episode. Look at how many episodes you guys have done. This is amazing.
I'll say the one with Damien was good. I like that one. That was actually the 100th episode too.
Yeah, so this was a good one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You got one, Ryan?
They all were good. I can't pick one.
He's not going to pick one person, is he? I don't blame you. Well, check out their Welcome to Fatherhood. I'll drop that link also in the show notes, so we can check those out. And let's just kind of, oh my gosh, we're already at 30 minutes. It's just amazing how fast the time goes. So you can tell me your favorite memory of fatherhood so far. Tell me your favorite personal memory of fatherhood so far. And since you're unmuted, go ahead, Royce, you go ahead and go.
Oh man, I think just for me, just witnessing my kids being born, just being there in that moment, just feeling all the emotions at one moment, just coming at one second, just kind of like your life flashing before your eyes in a way, So I'll say just seeing my kids be born is a moment I'll never forget.
That's awesome. How about you, Raheem?
Yeah, I would say, that birth for sure. But I do have a time where, so my son, he used to, I know I'm going to try to truncate the story so I don't go too long. But my son, he used to wrestle. and I think he was probably maybe like 8. And we had this one particular time we went to a wrestling meet, and it was taking like a long time for him to get on the mat. And like toward the end of the meet, they had called his name, so he had went up, and then the other kid had came on the mat, and he was noticeably like bigger than like way bigger than my son. You know, in wrestling they had weight classes, right? So like I'm thinking like, this kid is big, but I didn't like think past it. I just thought like, this would be good for him to get some practice and learn how to, wrestle with bigger kids or kids that may be stronger than him. So the match started, and my son, um, the kid beat my son, and actually my son started crying. And so like after the match, I was talking to him, and I was like, it's okay, it's okay. So then he had a second match, the same meet, and then he went up, and again the second kid wasn't as big as the first kid, but he was still like noticeably bigger. So like the same thing happened, and like after that, like he wrestled out the rest of the season, but it was like I could tell like his confidence was a little bit shot because of what happened, and it made me feel bad because I felt like I didn't protect him. Like I felt like I should have said something in that moment, like these, y'all see this kid is way bigger. What's going on? But yeah, I just felt bad, like I didn't protect him, and it was probably maybe like a year or two later where I had called him in the room. I was thinking about it. It was on my mind for some reason, and I was like, when you was wrestling, I should have said something when you went against a really big kid or those really big kids. And I apologized to him for it. And he was like, "You still thinking about that?" I was like, I was like, man, I am thinking about it. I was thinking about it because I felt really bad. Like I didn't do my job as as a father, as a protector, or whatever, to intervene in that moment. And it was like he was over it. So that taught me a huge lesson about, I guess, just giving yourself grace, and sometimes kids like they get past things more than better than I guess an adult or a parent can, because we have all this other stuff that we're thinking about, and yeah, it just taught me about a valuable lesson. So,
I love that. He's like, Dad, you're still thinking about that?
yeah,
That
yeah.
was weeks ago. I'm over that. But I do think that as a parent, right, we kind of beat ourselves up sometimes like, I should have said something. Should I do something? Should I say something? Should I, you kind of go through that whole thing, and we can't be perfect as parents. We can do the best that we can and learn from our mistakes, like you said, and all of that. So I love that. Well, I so appreciate the both of you joining me. If you want to stick around for a minute after I do the outro, would love that. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Dr. Raheem Young, Sir Royce Brialis, for joining us today. Welcome to Fatherhood. If you've not connected with Welcome to Fatherhood, please connect with them on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on Facebook, all the spaces, all the places, and let's really keep boosting this up for them so we can help so many parents, so many dads, so many families. So thank you guys so much, and we'll see you next Monday. Thanks, everybody.